Okay, say it again.
This is the biceps femoris, where I just cut through. This is a part of your thigh muscle.
Thigh muscle.
So this would be the vastus lateralis. This is the vastus medialis. And this is the rectus femoris.
Rectus femoris.
Okay? It runs right here from the kneecap. This is the vastus medialis. This is the lateralis, and this is the rectus femoris on top. This is the Latissimus Dorsi.
Okay, I'm gonna record what you're saying too.
Okay, so we started with the thoracic region, right? So 4 muscles, we identified which ones. So this would be the pectoral antebrachialis. Start from the chest region, the pectoral region, and it goes to the antebrachium. So attaches somewhere here to the radial bone. And xiphohumeralis, right? This would be the pectoralis minor, and this would be the pectoralis major. Okay, so one difference we should remember when it comes to cat, the pectoralis minor is bigger than the major. Okay, in human, our pectoralis major. That's the xiphohumeralis. Remember the xiphoid process here?
That's right.
From the sternum. It starts from the xiphoid process, attaches to the humerus. So xiphohumeralis down here. So those are the 4 muscles that we have on the chest here. The abdominal wall, we have 4 muscles as well, right? We have the first one called the external oblique, the outermost. You see direction of fibers traveling down, okay? And then we have the internal oblique, fibers go up, right? And in the middle here, we can see those fibers traveling down straight. Okay, that's the rectus abdominis. And if you touch here, you can see that this area here is much thicker, okay, than the side. That's because the rectus abdominis is here, and we can see those fibers. And the transverse abdominis, that would be separating this here. We're not able to do it on this dissection, but so at least those 3 muscles that you're going to need to identify, okay, external oblique, internal oblique, and the rectus abdominis. And to know the location of it, the rectus abdominis would be below this internal oblique here, okay, below it. And so that would be here. And then the forelimb, 2 muscles we need to identify here, and that would be not the superficial one here. These are all part of the deltoid. But when it comes to the cat, cats have more muscle than human because their muscles separate into smaller muscle. So the deltoid has 3 different names. And so this would be all part of the deltoid muscle, and then it comes attaches to the humerus down here. So as you cut this deltoid muscle here, then below it we have the biceps brachii. So that would be one of the heads of the biceps brachii. And then down here we have the triceps. Okay, so we can see here triceps are much bigger. It's made of 3 heads. So medially that's one of the heads, and then you have the second head here, and then between them there's the long head. But all this down here would be the triceps, and then deep in here would be the bicep. Okay, so those are the 2 muscles we needed to know there. And then on the back of the cat, we had the latissimus. Okay, so that's a muscle that I have forgot about completely. But everybody seen the Latissimus Dorsi? Yes. So a muscle originates from the back here, what we call the lumbar fascia, this back white portion here. Originate from the vertebrae here and some of the ribs, and then it travels all the way across here and attaches to the humerus. So you're able to see on some of your dissection this Latissimus Dorsi here. So the only muscle of the back that we were to identify. You come down here, the buttock region, we have 3 muscles, right? Down here we have the gluteus medius, the gluteus maximus, and then this down here would be the caudofemoralis, right? Caudal, remember tail, and then the femur, caudofemoralis. So this one here, this here, this here. Another difference here, we see that the gluteus medius is bigger than the gluteus maximus in the cat. In human, we know the maximus is the largest. Then we come to the leg. The thigh region here, or the hind limb. The thigh region here, the 2 superficial muscles on the medial aspect would be, the top one here is the sartorius. The sartorius is much wider, it covers all this area here. So part of it here you can see. And then down here would be the gracilis muscle. So it is also wider than it is in human. And on the outer surface, we have also a very big muscle, the biggest of the leg here, that would be the biceps femoris. Okay, so cats, they can jump high because of this muscle here, larger. And you've been seeing some of these here fibers. These are blood vessels, blue and red, but that's not the native because the cat has been injected with a specific dye, and it is silicone, liquid silicone, but then they inject it and then it dries in the vessels. So it is used to study the blood vessel in 6 and 12. Blue ones carry what we call, these are called veins, and then the red ones are called arteries. And then you can see some white fibers, those are the nerves, part of the nervous system. Okay? And this would be here a nerve, and it's the biggest one in our body. That's just for orientation. Okay? And that's the sciatic nerve. Sciatic nerve. So that's why when intramuscular injection is being done, this is one of the nerves that you always try to avoid, because if the needle hits it, it can lead to not just pain, it can lead to damage of the nerve, inflammation, and then eventually paralysis, the worst. So that's the biceps femoris. We have the sartorius, we have the gracilis muscle. Here, below the gracilis, we have on top, this is the adductor muscle, okay, just known as the adductor muscle. And down here, this would be here the semimembranosus. And here we have the quadricep muscle. Once we remove these here, so medially, this muscle here would be the vastus medialis. This here on top here would be the rectus femoris, and then this here would be the vastus lateralis. And deep down here we have our semitendinosus. Okay, that's the semitendinosus here. So those are the muscles of the thigh. Anterior compartment, we have the superficial gracilis sartorius. Deep inside we have the vastus medialis, vastus lateralis, rectus femoris. Down here, adductor muscle, this would be here semimembranosus and the semitendinosus. Okay, and you come to the leg down here. We have muscles of the back. So gastrocnemius, we can see it outermost. Right below it here is another muscle. So these two, you can see they continue. Those who wanted to see a tendon, this would be a tendon here. Okay, it's called the Achilles tendon. And these muscles, the triceps surae, which is the two gastrocnemius, that's the medial head, and then you have the gastrocnemius lateral head here. And the soleus, these two combine and attach to the calcaneal bone here. And this is the Achilles tendon.
Which one's the soleus?
Soleus would be deep below, so this muscle here.
The long one. Okay.
It is flat right under the gastrocnemius. Okay, and tibialis anterior, I didn't separate it, but it is the most anterior muscle, this here. Okay, so you feel the bone here, that's the tibia. Next to it here, the largest muscle, this would be the tibialis anterior. Okay, those are the muscles that we need to be able to identify on the cat.
Will you have another chance to work with the muscles in the cat?
Yes, next time I will bring you a dried cat where those muscles are separated and you can look at them. But yes, for the exam, we have this type of cat where the muscles are separated. Your job would be on the exam to identify these muscles. Muscles, beside name, we need to know the function of those muscles. So large muscle. Functions are very similar to human. So when you talk about pectoralis muscle, that would be deflection here, right? So moving the forelimb forward. You talk about the hamstring group of muscle, that would be knee flexion as well. So these here would be extension, the quadricep muscle, extension of the knee. So you just learn the function in human, and in the cat, know where those muscles are located. All right? Okay, now each station shows me what they have, and then